It goes a little something like this.
Nice.
Or more like this.
Yeah, that's it. Masterful.
Do you want to turn on the guitar?
I'm a little rusty, but sure.
Wait, be careful!
Oh, great. Because I really needed another reminder that I'm a damn klutz. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you a new one.
No, don't worry about it. The musical instrument is fine. I just need to retune it.
Oh, sorry, real fast. I forgot to tell you. Erica just followed those Timeless Creatives on Twitter.
Erica who?
I don't know her last name. You know Erica from the Archer Writers Room? I think she was an intern.
Oh, holy sh**. That's a blast from the past. How's she doing?
It's weird. Her profile is mostly anti-vaxxer stuff nowadays. I don't know. A lot of the Archer peeps ended up going down the rabbit hole after the show got canceled, I guess. They got into some weird shit.
Oh, damn. For real?
Yeah. You remember Sebastian?
Of course. He was always the funniest guy in the room. We should have him on the pod sometime.
I don't know.
What? What could possibly be the issue with Sebastian?
He's, into drugs now.
Like hard drugs? Because weed is harmless.
Yeah, weed is fine to smoke, but Sebastian is misusing prescription opioids.
Ugh. Yeah, maybe we can wait until he's taken care of that little problem before we have him on the pod.
Maybe, an outpatient treatment center or even a residential treatment program could help.
Yeah, but he has to want it.
It's too bad. He was always the funniest guy in the room. I'm sure he still is, but I don't know. I hope he gets the help he needs. Oh, hell yeah. Wow, that's a blast from the past.
Do you want to give it a shot?
Is the guitar still slippery?
I wiped it down.
Okay. Here goes nothing.
Nice.
Sound familiar?
Yeah, it's our theme song.
Should we get into episode 19?
Let's do it. I mean, music is a nice way to pass the time, but there's not much intellectual depth to it. You gotta be kind of dull to find it entertaining for more than a few minutes.
Mm-hmm. That's why podcasts are where it's at. What? Let's do this thing.
Yo, it's Matthew Goldin.
And Jay Weingarten. And you're listening to Up Close and Personal.
Oh, that was corny.
Yeah, let's not do that again.
But you gotta admit it was a little bit of fun.
Nah, not for me. I've been getting into some pretty intense pleasures recently, and antics with friends no longer give me much of a rush in comparison.
Well, that's intriguing. What sort of intense pleasures are we talking about?
Murder.
What the
Nah, I'm just pulling your leg.
Okay, you bastard. You got me. Answer the damn question. What's your pleasure?
Well, I basically did just answer. I've been scaring people.
Scaring people?
Yeah, but only with good friends, of course. And I always do it in the spirit of play. Our little interaction just now is a good example of this style of joking around.
That's awesome. There's something really unique about combining fear with humor. Like, I know you're not a murderer, but for a second there, I was really creeped out, despite myself, you know? I think the pleasure of your approach resides in that moment of relief when we find out, after lots of built up tension, that you are definitely not a murderer.
Yeah, it's really like any joke. Build the tension, build the tension, build the tension.
And then, masterfully, release it.
There are lots of ways to use fear in this way. I've recently been jumping up behind close friends and family members. At first, I just did it as I am. They'd be startled for a second, and then they'd recover immediately.
And that's where their pleasure comes in that moment, that gap between being startled and then when they realize the truth, that there was nothing to be afraid of.
Right. And eventually, over the last few weeks, I've figured out a way to accentuate this pleasure. I've been wearing disguises, skeleton masks mainly, so that people think I'm something other than what I am.
Wow.
Yep. And then when I take off my disguise, there's that moment, that gleam in their eyes of recognition and glee where they go, "Oh, it's just Jay." And that's exactly where the pleasure comes in. Yeah. That's where they laugh.
I like roaring with laughter. That's why I keep you around, I guess. I take an interest in that feeling of absolute freedom, that sense of the world falling away that constitutes laughing. The only thing I don't like about laughter is how cold it makes me feel.
Huh?
Yup. The shiver that runs down my spine during a good joke, well, it usually goes unnoticed by my companions, but remember the other day when you accidentally stroked my arm while we were watching those old Burnham vids on YouTube?
Oh, yeah. You had goosebumps.
Yeah. There's something about a good joke, or levity in general, that chills me to my core. That's why when I first started stand-up, when I was a rookie, I always wore a long jacket and a big woolen sweater.
I remember that. That was sort of your thing at the time, huh? Back in the LA days. And those long LA nights. Hey, whatever happened to that ratty old sweater anyway?
Well, going to comedy shows every day has a way of making even the most wide-eyed post-grad fairly jaded. After 8 years of open mics, I no longer found the shit my peers wrote and performed to be very funny. It used to be that walking into a venue was like entering a damn refrigerator. I'd look at the ice in my beer and think, how does this not melt? Now I sit there enjoying the room temperature comics. I mean, I recognize their talent and all, the structural finesse of their jokes, but the laughter doesn't come, you know? I don't know.
Damn, I'm sorry. But frankly, that's what it means to be a veteran comic. You've earned the right to wear tank tops, wife beaters, muscle shirts, that sort of thing.
The word wife beater always rubbed me the wrong way. Just say sleeveless shirt, my friend. Otherwise, it's hard to enjoy a summer day without our minds jumping straight to domestic violence.
Yeah, or intimate partner violence. Not everyone chooses to tie the knot. But you don't need a priest or a rabbi to approve a union to make certain conduct just plain wrong.
People should behave lovingly toward their intimate partners. Kissing, caressing, cuddling.
Humping.
Jay, I think you mean sex when you say humping. But yeah, not just selfish sex though either. Like, it's important to make sure that both people achieve release. I actually make a point of coming last, or not at all. If you're decent at all on the proverbial sack, it's not even about orgasm.
Yeah, no, for me, it's mostly about pillow talk. That strong feeling of connection you can get with a partner when both parties just start spilling the beans.
Beans in the proverbial sack, huh? Sounds like a burrito.
Hell yes. But Hey, all this talk of sex and intimacy has me wondering, are millennials opting to get married later in life than previous generations?
Hey, isn't that our debate topic for this week?
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
Yeah. Well, I want to know: are millennials getting married later, or about the same?
We put the question to our fans. Let's see what they had to say.
Proliferation of dating apps such as Tinder and Bumble have made it way more common for folks of the millennial persuasion just to sleep around.
Living together or having a child or, spending Christmas with the person. That's way more important, I think, to millennials than, a ceremony, exchanging of rings, and saying, I do.
Yes, I believe that they are. I think that this position is supported by the evidence, such as the U.S. Census. I think a more interesting question is why.
Let's say millennial A is wealthy, millennial B is like an elite millennial, and then millennial C is like poor, working class. So maybe there's more than two options.
Hi, this is actually a caller. In response to your question about if millennials are getting married later in life than prior generations did, I don't know.
Then the elite will become the space travelers that will probably live like for millions of years on spaceships.
I think that the song that goes, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. Well, I guess millennials aren't really liking it.
Interesting.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who chimed in. We need to take some time to process all this. Why are you laughing, Matthew?
I keep thinking of that thing I said earlier about beans in the proverbial sack sounding like a burrito.
Yes. It's quite an apt depiction, my friend.
Remember when we used to get burritos all the time, Jay? Back when we were bunking together in Virgil Village and shooting episode 1 of J Humor?
I forget my keys sometimes, but I would never forget that. You had bed bugs, so we sort of made a really up situation work. I had a 1-bedroom pad, but it was way too tiny for 2 growing postgrads like ourselves.
The next episode of J Humor is up on Eternal Family now too, huh?
Yep. Ep 2 is up. Connor O'Malley made an appearance, and yeah, the whole thing could not have been made without, I call him an editing wizard. Yeah. I use these funny terms. I say an occupation, and then I just plug in wizard. Anyways, I hope people enjoy J Humor episode 2, because we had a lot of fun writing, filming, editing, and publishing it. This editing wizard's name is Anthony Banua Simon. Thank you, Anthony. This could not have been done without Anthony. So we didn't eat burritos while working on this project.
No burritos were harmed in the making of this episode.
Tacos, on the other hand?
And the occasional Pocky, just to keep spirits up.
Occasional, Matthew?
Okay, maybe a few boxes.
A few? Matthew! Even the garbage men were commenting on the weight of those bags. I was shocked to see one of the burliest of the garbage men actually ask me for help while lifting up the bag. Both of our eyes bulged with the strain. The black bag was that filled with empty Pocky boxes.
Your eyes bulged? My bad. I'll go easy on the twigs. And yes, before you ask, I call Pocky twigs. Don't they kind of look like twigs?
They look like a heart attack waiting to happen. I would never touch that stuff. I like healthy food.
Yawn.
Come on. A bit of healthy food and some Panax ginseng is actually what fuels me to record these eps of Up Close and Personal.
I eat a lot of junk food before we record episodes. Yes, I know it makes me put on a few pounds, but there's just something awesome about finishing a recording session and then bursting out of my clothes like the Incredible Hulk.
Oh, shit. Yes, thank you.
No, but actually, my weight has been something I've struggled with since I was a kid. It wasn't until I saw Shallow Hal a couple of years ago that I started becoming comfortable in my body.
Speaking of which, our guest today for Up Close and Personal was one of the lead editors of Shallow Hal.
That's right, huh? That's certainly not what he's known for. It can't be denied that he's responsible for the film being what it is. Should we get to the interview?
Well, is there anything else you want to say to me privately before we invite him in?
Nah, privacy's a joke. I'm an open book. I'm the kind of chill, open-minded person who will talk to a seat partner on a jumbo jet for hours about sex, tattoos, torture, and other taboo topics. Once they say hi, the floodgates open.
All right, well, let's open those floodgates, I guess, with our guest. He's an incredible individual, though he does have his quirks.
Who doesn't? Let's go find him.
Doug!
Doug?
Doug!
DJ Douggpound?
DJ Douggpound, hello!
Doug? Doug?
Doug! Come here. Doug!
Let's see.
Hello!
Doug? Doug? Doug?
Doug! Doug! He always does this.
Oh, Doug. Come on.
Come out wherever you are, Douggpound. Maybe he's under this mat?
I'm willing to bet he's not.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe he's in the bathroom.
I checked. He wasn't in there. Just the usual, man.
Oh, wait. I think I hear something coming from over there.
Oh, yeah. I see it.
It's Doug. He's in the hallway.
Awesome! Yes!
I love that. It's so Doug. Let's head over there and conduct the interview.
It's showtime!
Hey, thanks for having you on my podcast.
Come again?
Ugh, sorry. My dyslexia. I meant to say, thanks for having me on your podcast.
Okay. I was gonna say, I knew DJ Douggpound was weird, but I didn't know he was this weird.
Sorry. I seriously only meant to say, thanks for having me on your podcast. It was just a slip up. Didn't mean anything by it. As I already said, damn my dyslexia.
No harm done. We love having you. And we're actually fairly excited to pick your brain a little.
How's it been going, guys? I think the last time I saw you both was the November before last during that 2 at Cruise show.
I thought that show went, swimmingly.
Yeah, you guys did an epic duo act. I don't remember what exactly, but whatever you did, it worked.
Yeah, the audience was really responding to the choices we made on stage. Several people in the back rows stopped fidgeting in their seats, and they actually stood up in rapt attention after we took the stage. And what was most notable, though, was that their eyes were glimmering.
For real? I must have missed that. I find it hard to see the audience during duet shows because of all the spotlights shining on me. Plus, it's so loud. Sensory overload is a bitch. But I really wish I had gotten to see the glimmering-eyed folks in the back. That's what doing this is all about.
Oh, damn. You should have come out with us. Several audience members approached us after the show, and they actually invited us out for drinks.
Ah, damn. How did that go? Did they say anything about my act?
In so many words.
Yes, well, it was clear. Your name came up casually in conversation, and a few of these audience members, who by this point were our conversation partners, kind of nodded knowingly. Like, the quality of your act was so obviously high, nothing really needed to be said.
There's an ineffable quality to what you do, Doug.
Ineffable? You're saying Doug's not likely to secure a sex partner?
I don't know about that. The word ineffable...
Ineffable, Jay. It's a GRE word that basically means my work is indescribable, that it somehow transcends language itself.
For sure, for sure. Which work exactly?
My web series Pound House, my editing for Tim and Eric Awesome Show, great job, and my podcast, The Poundcast, all have an ineffable quality to them. My other projects are made with a lot of passion and professionalism, but it is possible to describe them in words.
What are some of your other projects you've been doing lately?
I've been developing a new skate trick. You don't need to be Bill Shakespeare or anything to describe the trick. It basically involves me jumping the skateboard up a few inches off the ground and spinning around a few times before landing quietly.
That sounds awesome. But personally, I think it would make me a little queasy if I went up in the air on a board.
Why is that? It's not like you have to look at anything gross while you're doing it. I generally perform my tricks in clean, well-lit areas, like office parks. There's no sign of rodent excrement or vomitus, clumps of dried skin, rotting food with hair in it, or anything like that. It's just a clean, well-lit area, and I zoom around there. Why feel queasy?
Well, you said you jump the skateboard straight up into the air? I mean, that's all well and good until you look down. We have liftoff! We have liftoff! More likely than not, I'd throw up on the board and have barf off, since the whole experience would remind me of being on a roller coaster.
Yeah, let's just say I'm not going to be letting you use my board anytime soon.
And that's why Jay and I take separate planes when we're touring. Things have a way of going south when Jay goes into the air.
Next time you land a gig that requires the use of a jet plane, if you want to avoid wasting your vomit bag, I have one word of advice.
What?
Don't look down.
Thanks a million. So, what have you been up to lately, Doug?
Nothing crazy. Auditing classes a bit at my local university.
Oh, that's really cool. So you don't have to pay normal tuition for the classes?
Nope. But it's not just tuition I'm excused from. Normally, students have to pay tuition per unit. But there are also enrollment fees, fees for health services, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I'm sure textbooks are a big textbook companies have seriously been inflating prices in recent years.
Reminiscent of Bernie Madoff in some respects.
Yep, textbooks are a scam, but I actually avoid paying for them. I use a little program called BitTorrent. I just download the textbooks on my e-reader for free, and I'm good to go. It's not just easy on the pocketbook, e-readers are easier on the back too. I'm not trudging along carrying a backpack full of books. I've always loved learning, but scoliosis, not so much.
Hey, Matthew, doesn't your brother have scoliosis?
Yep, a minor case. Most of our spines shoot straight up in a vertical line toward the sky, but as my brother always says, mine takes a little detour.
That's nice. I like it when people are able to say something cute about their physical or mental health issues. It makes everyone else feel a little bit more comfortable.
When I feel depressed, I say, it's a cloudy day with a chance of showers. Inside my head. My life partner knows to give me some space in those situations.
Yeah, when I'm fairly scraped up after a catastrophe or some sort of disaster, I'll sometimes say, it's just a flesh wound. The people huddled around my body asking if I'm okay generally crack a smile. Like, if they're familiar at all with Monty Python, you know?
Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Nice. I love the dead parrot sketch.
The parrot is dead.
No, it's not. It's still alive.
This parrot is no more. It has ceased to be. It's expired and gone to meet its maker. This is an ex-parrot.
My favorite line from Monty Python is, there are a great many people in the country today who, through no fault of their own, are sane.
Yep. And remember, that line was written before the invention of Twitter.
The website shows a picture of a bird because it wouldn't exactly be good marketing if they made the logo a picture of a lunatic in a straitjacket.
But it would be more accurate.
The users on Twitter seem insane or odd.
It would definitely be more accurate if they changed the logo.
Maybe they can compromise and put a bird in a straitjacket.
That sounds like an idea straight out of Monty Python. John Cleese, if you're listening, hire us! We have a fairly absurd sensibility, and we're actually not afraid to use it.
Are they even still making Monty Python episodes?
Yeah, a bit. When they have the time. But at this point, it's kind of a parody of itself.
Fine by me. Life as we know it is a parody of itself.
I've certainly always felt that way. Working in the medium of comedy, I've always felt that being funny is just about depicting the world as it actually is. There's no need to add jokes. There's plenty of absurdity that we encounter in just our everyday lives. Like, just to give an example, why do we use the word brush for our teeth when brush also refers to what we use on our hair? It can also mean scrub vegetation. That's patently absurd. And we encounter shit like that on the daily.
Oh, yeah, and Doug, also brushes are what painters use to make their art. When we brush our teeth, does that mean we're drawing squiggles all over them or painting a still life on them?
I'd love to see that. If someone ever has the balls to do that, they'll win the internet, at least for a day.
Most deaf, but it's funny you bring up painting. Like, my favorite painting of all time is Jean-Francois Millet's The Gleaners. Millet worked in the 19th century realist tradition. The painting is famous for featuring in a sympathetic way what were then the lowest ranks of rural society. This was received poorly by the French upper classes.
Why? They thought art should only depict noble or fantastic subjects?
Basically, yeah. But realist painters were able to extract beauty from the mundane, even sordid subject matter. You don't need to travel the world looking for wondrous things. It's just a matter of looking around you. And I like to apply that philosophy to my own art, my own comedy.
How apt that your favorite realist painting depicts gleaners, like people who collect leftover crops from the earth after a harvest. As artists, as writers, as creators, we...
Yes, definitely. As artists, we are most certainly gleaners, looking for subjects that have been neglected, left to rot, subjects that have been deemed unworthy of artistic depiction. That's why much of my work focuses on little things, like how we use the same word brush for many, many different activities.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, I relate. I guess that's why Jay and I produce a lot of sketch comedy about the dark underbellies of American cities. And we do stand-up comedy about, those little moments, those little neglected in-between moments.
Yeah. Like, most people, when you ask them, hey, what did you do today? They'll tell you who they hung out with, maybe something about their job, or even some life-changing event. But if somebody asked me, I'd answer, I looked out the window, or I went to the bathroom, or I checked my email, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like to us, the so-called major life events are far more prosaic than those quiet personal moments that we leave out of our narratives. We see these moments as illegitimate because we think they're common or boring. But in fact,
life amounts to nothing more than a collection of these moments. Yes. What we usually call life, the kind of stuff that's written in biographies, is actually just a catalog of the ways that a person's life gets interrupted. Real life is going to the potty, watching TV, sleeping, more sleeping, getting a bite to eat, or even listening to a podcast while sitting in traffic.
Anyways, and that's why we want you, the person listening to Up Close and Personal. Feel free to take a moment.
Breathe. Appreciate this banal moment. Don't see it as just a bridge to another bigger, more story-worthy event.
I second that. If you're listening to this episode right now, don't leave this out of an account of your day. If someone says, "What did you do today?" don't skip over the small moments like these.
That's right. It's sort of an act of violence in a way to leave them out. When they ask what you did today, answer, "I listened to Up Close and Personal." Talk about it. Discuss the episode with them.
Mention DJ Douggpound, the guest, an individual with immense talent who's, nonetheless, just a person like anyone else. Discuss the audio production of the episode. Mention Sven Gunderson and Eckhart Lowell, our producers, by name.
Express an intention to listen to more episodes, and recommend the podcast to whoever you're talking to.
Even if something more interesting happened that day, such as a job promotion or a death in the family, focus on the little moments instead. Doing so can be deeply liberating. So go ahead and let a few friends or even strangers know about this podcast and about my episode in particular.
So, anything to plug, Doug, before you go?
Besides my bathtub, it's been a few days since I've bathed. Yeah, for sure. I do the Poundcast, which is my podcast. I also co-host Office Hours with Tim Heidecker, which you can watch on YouTube and other podcast apps every Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. But you know what? Check me out on Instagram, too.
That's awesome. Well, those projects and your Instagram sound like such neat endeavors.
Yes, and these endeavors we'll certainly be checking out in the near future.
All right, guys. It's been pod being on the great.
You mean...
That time I was joking. It's been great being on the pod.
It's been great having you, Doug.
It's been great having you, Doug.
Peace, y'all.
I also enjoyed this little bodega on my corner. It's not like a big tourist bodega or anything like that. It's kind of hardly worth mentioning. It has honestly been so nice. There really is something special about my little bodega. And yes, I really do think of it as mine. It has honestly been so nice to literally just step out of my house and pick up whatever essentials I need. Napkins, Progresso. Yeah, there really is something special about my little bodega. And yes, I really do think of it as mine. just feels like a family there.
That's really nice.